Hey guys, this is day one of my bulk. I'm doing chest and tries, and this is just one of the variations of my chest and try days. I always like to warm up my shoulders first to prevent, any soreness. It's not going to prevent artery soreness, but to minimize soreness and keep the mobility in my shoulders. As you see, I just got a 5 pound weight. Did some light lateral movements, alternating it underneath, and then going all the way up, exercising the shoulder mobility, alternating at the top. And just do that a couple times till about 7-8 times each. Not too much. Then I go into a kind of a superset for my shoulders with some lateral raises, and then I do 10 of each for these. So I do 10 lateral raises, then I do 10 front raises, and then I do 10 bent over lat raises. It's really light. It's I usually warm up these are 15-pound weights. That's really light for me, but it's a humbling light. It's not something to mess around with. You don't need to be lateral raising 20-30 pounds. It's going to get heavy by the middle of your first set. You'll start to feel it. It's gonna warm up your shoulders. I don't do too many shoulder warm ups, but this is a pretty heavy superset. Get those front, side, and the top of your rear delts activated, and just blood pumping to those areas to reinforce you. When you're working at your chest, you're going to be activating those front delts a lot. So even sometimes you'll see in my other chest days, I'll do chest and front delts, or chest and shoulders, or chest, tries, and shoulders. Sometimes, a lot of times I'll do chest, tries, and shoulders. And I do 3 sets of these, 3 sets of each. Usually I'm doing between 3 to 5 sets of everything. And a lot of long sets you'll see later on. I do a lot of long sets. Alright, right after that, we're going to go right into some dumbbell bench press. And again, I'm still warming up. These are, I think, 30 pounds. And I'm just, warming up my chest real quick. And I don't know, I'm probably doing 10, 15 reps. And I'm doing a inverted turn and alternating my hands at the top. All that's doing is squeezing, giving my chest a little extra squeeze. And once I get up to higher weights, I don't do that. I do 2 warm-up sets. This is, I believe, maybe 45 pound dumbbells. I'm doing alternating at the top. And that's just to give my chest a little extra squeeze, get my all parts of my chest activated and warmed up and getting ready for the actual workout here. All right, here we go. We're getting into our first set, I believe. And it's just real simple. You don't need to be bringing the weights down way past that, that plane of motion there. You need to stay at that 90-degree angle. If you want to go a little bit deeper, get a little bit deeper stretch, you can. It's not going to kill you to put a little bit, an inch or two, go a little bit deeper. If you want to feel that stretch, all it's really going to do is open up your chest. If you're going to do that, I recommend you do that on those warm-up sets. You don't do that with a lot of weight. It's going to put a lot of stress on your shoulders, and that's what we try to avoid. That's why we warm up our shoulders. We don't want to be putting too much stress on those. I think for me, in this set here, in these three sets, the goal rep for me is about 15, 10 to 15. I usually want to do around 12. Now I always try to hit that 15 mark, but once I get to like my third set, I'm pushing. Bench isn't one of my strong suits, so it's one of my lacking areas, if you will, what I'm working on. That is not a very good starting position. It's best to have a spotter, but I don't at the time. And towards this third set, I'm just trying to get at least 8. My bare minimum is 8 when I'm pressing, unless I'm doing my burnout workouts later. And I always try to do 8. If I'm pushing at 80, 90, 100%, I'm trying to do at least 8 reps. Next here we're going to go into dumbbell flies. And I do dumbbell flies and cable flies on every single chest day, and for a reason. I do them at opposite ends of the workout for a reason. Dumbbell flies, I focus on lowering the weight slowly. Okay, I'm doing about 10 to 12 reps here, I believe. And this is also kind of a bit of a humbling exercise sometimes, especially by the second or third set. I'm only using 25-pound weights. I'm not, trying to tear my chest or anything. I'm still slightly kind of warming up, but I have started my actual workout here, and I'm just stretching my chest. I'm focusing on that stretch on the way down, controlling the weights slowly on the way down, and squeezing my chest on the way up. So when I get to the top, I want to hold it for, about 2 seconds, squeeze, and then go and lower and control the weight on the way back down. That's what I'm focusing on. But the dumbbells on the pec fly, for me, focuses on, when I'm lowering the weight down, on that opening stretch. A lot of times we focus on the contraction of the muscle, but we also want to focus on the opposite, which is stretching that muscle out too, because when you're lifting, you're not only contracting, but you're also stretching that muscle. So you want to focus on both. So here I'm focusing on that stretching. Towards the end, I'm going to be contracting, and you'll see me hit high, medium, and low on the cable flies. Right after those dumbbell flies, we go into skull crushers. This is one of my favorite tricep workouts here. I believe here I started out with 80. Usually I start 70, and I climb the ladder with 3 sets. Now there's 70, 80, 90. Today, I was feeling froggy. So I started 80 and went 80, 90, 100. Something I haven't done in a while since I first started. I won't say first started lifting, but in my first 2 years of lifting. I also used to superset that with close grip, but I don't anymore because I want to focus on my triceps here, separating the two. Quick little pose, quick little pose. Nope, still small. Okay, back to work. I go up to 90 here. I believe I'm hitting 10. 10 to 12 is the goal. I think on that last one I did hit 12. I wasn't counting. I counted when I did it. I wasn't counting then. I can't really count past 10 anyway, so a lot of times my sets will be between 10 and 15. If I make it to 15, either counting or on the reps, whichever comes first. This does get pretty sketchy when you're doing heavy weight and you don't have a spotter. You'll see me on this next set here at 100 pounds. I talked myself up to doing it. There's a guy sitting next to me. He was finishing up his set. I should have asked him for a spot, but I didn't. That's 5. 6. I think I get 8. Oh, nope.
I almost died.
Yeah, so right there I definitely almost died. But that's okay because I ditched it pretty well. But if you're going to try something like that with heavyweight, highly recommend a spotter. I highly recommend a spotter on just about anything. Once you're up at over 75%, you should be getting a spotter. Next, we're going to go into one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger chest workouts for that upper and lower chest. We're going to do some overhead pulls. And a lot of people do these. What is that? Perpendicular. I'm not good at school. That's why I'm strong. But yeah, perpendicular, intersecting with the small of your back on the bench and whatnot, activating your core and whatnot. But my focus here is my chest, a little bit on my shoulders too. I am doing a bit of heavyweight. I believe it's that first set was 55, which is what I usually do. I did that first set. It was way too easy, so I went up. I think I grabbed a 75 here and humbled myself, as I do often. And I went to town throwing that 75 up above my head a few times in a very dangerous motion here. This one is really activating your upper chest towards the outer side on your front delts, your inner front delts. And I'm just doing 3 sets of about, I like to say 12 to 15, but I'm pretty sure I always do closer to 10 on these. This one kind of wears out my shoulder. There's no way around it to take off too much weight on your shoulders. If you really wanted to, I guess you could only go back as far as your chest feels the stretch and come back up. I like to go just over my forehead.
Ten out of 10. Yes, sir.
All right, so right after that, we go right into this variation of tricep pull downs that I kind of came up with myself. This is probably my favorite tricep workout here. And I got this idea from an exercise that me and my original workout partners used to do called random selection. And this variation, because you don't have a partner, you start all the way at the top, no weight clipped on, so the lowest amount of weight, and you hit 10, you go down 1, you hit 10, you go down 1, you hit 10, and you keep going. The minimum you want to do is 5. So as you go all the way down, as far as you can go, with the max weight, obviously it's going to get harder and you're not going to be able to do as many. So once you can no longer do more than 5, if you're barely hitting 5, then you're done. It's time to go back up. You go 1 down, do as many as you can. Go 1 down, do as many as you can, all the way back up to the lowest weight. Now I usually do that once, sometimes twice. If I'm feeling froggy, I'll do 3 sets. But for the most part, it's just reps and climbing the ladder on the weight as far as you can go. On the other variation that I was talking about before, with the random selection, you'll be turned the other way. So I guess you can do it this way if you don't look at the weight, or you can turn around and you can do overhead tricep pulls. Also works with curls. You turn around with your back to the weight, and your gym partner, they should know your max, what you can do. They should know how far to push you, but obviously not going over your max. They pick anything from the lowest to your max, and you hit 10, and you do 10 sets of 10 non-stop. Every set, your gym partner is changing the weight, and so that's how we did that. That's how I came out with this one. I needed a variation, or I wanted a variation of that to maximize reps for optimal gains, and to exercise to failure. And so I came up with this one. Just I can't random select myself and surprise myself with the weight. But what I can do is push myself as far as I can go and just keep repping until I physically cannot go anymore. And that also minimizes, counting the reps. So I'm not really counting. I'll count to 10. Once I hit 10, it's time to go down. But you're not if you're not hitting, 5, then there's no reason to be counting.
Come on. Don't be a bitch. Yeah, buddy. Come on. Fuck. Barely 5. Just remember all things come and go.
Obviously, as fatigue sets in, in between the reps, in between each set, I should say, each mini set. The breaks get longer. The goal is to knock them out without a break. You want to do as many as you can without a break. But as fatigue sets in, you start to catch your breath, take a small pause here and there. And that's okay. As long as you're not, taking a whole, in between set breaks, and cheating yourself, giving yourself too much rest. This whole point is to make your muscles fatigue. You want this fatigue, you want this failure. That's what you want. This is all to failure.
Alright, that was 10. So
as you notice, after being so fatigued and going all the way back down, going all the way down as far as I can, on the way back up, even though the weight is getting lighter, your fatigue is getting higher. So the weight's not getting any lighter, really. So it's kind of a constant. It's give and take, So how much do you have in you versus how much weight do you have left to push from how far you went down, So you're kind of like racing yourself. You're only in competition with yourself.
that's one.
Alright. Body dysmorphia is gone away by now. That or I got really hot. Probably a combination of both. A little sweat in my eye. God, that burns so bad. in between, whether I do another set after that first one or not, I do like to. I don't want to say superset, but it's kind of a superset, in between set of reverse curls here. And this is again, just as we're always contracting those muscles. This is a slower contraction. You're still contracting the tricep, but it's a slower contraction. It's more of a controlled. And what I like to do is on judging the weight to do on those reverse curls, and I usually do a set of 10 or 15 in between each set of the tricep push downs that I went back to now. I'm doing that second set. What I like to do is just on gauging the weight on those reverse curls. However far down I went on those push downs, I'll usually reverse curl about half of that weight. And that's how I decide my reverse curls. So about half of your push down max. After working your way down. And we go back into this second set of maxed out push downs. I'm not supposed to pause in between it like this, but it's starting to hurt. Done. That hurts. Alright, so lastly, we have the cable flies I was telling you about earlier. Opposite of dumbbell flies that I did earlier on the inverted bench, the incline bench. On these, I'm focusing more on that contraction in the middle. So as I contract my chest together, focusing on squeezing both pecs together, I try to hold it for a second or two at the top, right there,
There's that weight.
right there. Hold. There you go. And again, just like that. And I just try to hold it for a second, focusing on that contraction before coming down. I still want to control the weight coming down. I'm not just flinging it back. And I do 10 up top, 10 in the middle, and 10 from below. And I usually do 2 to 3 sets on this. Unless I'm like really fatigued or always going really hard, and by the end of it I'm too burnt out and I do 1 set. I do always do at least 1 set, but typically I do 2 to 3 sets on this.
This is kind of hard.
The key for me, at least, no matter what position you're coming from the top, from the middle, or from below, you want to focus on bringing your hands together to the center of your body, up at chest level. If you're coming from the bottom, like I just said, coming up at chest level, bringing your 2 hands meeting in the center of your body at chest level. If you're coming from the middle, you want to come straight in, at the proper angle, keeping your elbows lightly bent, and only pulling with your pecs here from the top, coming down and meeting in the middle, to the middle of my chest. I'm not going below the center of my chest. I'm meeting at my nipples, basically. This is where I want to bring those cables down to. Right there at my nipples, holding it for a second or two, focusing on that contraction in the chest area. Now, I will say this, contrary to belief, it's been completely debunked that hitting different areas of your chest is going to target different areas of your chest. Your entire chest, for the most part, is going to work together 100%. So doing high cables, middle cables, low cables, one versus the other, is nothing different than just a different angle. While it's not going to help you shape your muscles. You can't shape your muscles. You can grow your muscles. You can control the size of your muscles, but you cannot shape your muscles. The shape of your muscles is genetic. But you can grow all of your muscles, including your calves. There you go. Getting towards the end, doing a little bit of cheating here, but just trying to finish up the set. Also, I did try to knock these out quickly because where I'm standing happens to be, kind of in a walkway, and I hate to be that guy. There's not many people in the gym when I go, but still, I try not to be that guy. And that's my chest and tries there, guys.
We'll call it there.